swear it'll be next time. This one's the citrus is what I'm drinking now. It's a little on the sweet side for me. The Amasai is also very delicious. Comes in different flavors. There's also the probiotic-enriched cheese. We're going to have Jordan Rubin on the program next week. Tomorrow we're going to talk to Sonia Barrett about her book, Health and Inside Job. Sonia is a friend as well as a wonderful author, one of my favorite authors. She's got some really cool books, kind of weird sort of books that she writes. And she's kind of a little bit of a strange woman, but very cool. And we'll talk to her tomorrow about her book, Health and Inside Job. That'll be tomorrow on the bright side. Okay, 855-660-4261 is our number today. If you've got questions about health or nutrition or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls, and we will take your calls here in our next segment. Try to get on board early so we can squeeze in as many calls as possible. 855-660-4261. If you're interested in joining me in our webinars, we're doing phone webinars every Sunday, 6 o'clock Mountain Time. 6 p.m. Mountain Time. The dial-in number is 559-726-1300. Our access code is 455-987-POUND. Yesterday we talked about the thyroid as well as the Healthy Start Pack. And next week we're going to talk about adrenal fatigue. If you're interested in checking out my YouTube videos that I'm doing with Amanda Rideout on skincare, Amanda Rideout Health Coach, we do them every week. And you can Google search them, Amanda Rideout or Pharmacist Ben. And then you can also get on a list. We'll send out email links once a week as we do these, as we post these YouTubes. You can send me an email, ben@ksco.com, and we'll put you on the list and we'll get you links every week. And we talk about various skincare topics. Last one we did was on vitamins D and E for the skin. And the next program will be on a few other miscellaneous nutrients for the skin as well. So send me an email, ben@ksco.com. Okay, so there's a really important relationship between arginine and cholesterol, arginine in the liver and cholesterol. And if you're on a statin drug, there's also an interesting relationship between arginine and statin drugs. As you know, from listening to this program or listening to my presentations or anything I've done on the Internet, statin drugs are, in my opinion, a way more significant toxic and health concern than cholesterol ever was or ever will be. The idea of using a liver poison, that's what a statin drug is. Make no mistake about it. A statin drug is a liver toxin. This is why you have to have your liver checked when you're on a statin drug. That alone should tell you something about the insidious nature of a statin drug and really all prescription drugs. Statin drugs are toxic to the liver, and you got to have your liver checked every 6 months or so. And if you have to have your liver checked every 6 months because you're taking a prescription drug, that's a prescription drug you probably don't want to take. The idea of using what is, in essence, a toxin, a poison, a liver poison, to lower the body's ability to manufacture what is probably the most, if not one of the most important chemical of all the biochemicals in the body. This idea of poisoning the liver to suppress the production of this vital, incredibly critical chemical cholesterol is a textbook example of the lunacy, the utter ridiculousness, the stupidity, the insidious nastiness of the pharmaco-medical model. Cholesterol is a precursor to hormones. It's a building block to hormones, especially hormones that help us handle stress, especially hormones that help us build, especially hormones that help us grow and repair. Cholesterol is a raw material building block for the hormones of life. To suppress the production of this incredibly vital molecule is just nuts. Elevated blood cholesterol should first and foremost be regarded as a body that is in stress mode or in building mode or perhaps both. The body thinks it's under stress or thinks it's building, so it'll upregulate cholesterol manufacturing in an attempt to provide raw materials for the hormones that help us withstand stress and help us build. That's why cholesterol goes up. The body thinks it's in building mode or the body's in some kind of stress mode. When you realize the nature of cholesterol as a raw material for the production of these chemicals, the chemicals that help us withstand the stresses of life and the hormones that initiate building and growth and repair, it becomes obvious how idiotic, or even worse, how nasty and sneaky and rude and insidious the pharmaco-medical model is that promotes blocking and suppressing the production of this ridiculously, unspeakably important molecule. Shutting down the production of cholesterol at the level of the liver deprives cells of the raw materials they need to withstand the ups and downs and the stresses of life in a healthy and productive and divinely mandated fashion. If you wanted to intentionally suppress an organism's ability to grow big and strong and tough and robust and to be able to withstand the stresses of life in a healthy and effective fashion, you couldn't pick a better strategy than to poison cholesterol manufacturing machinery. You tell that to the next medical professional who tells you that you need to lower your blood cholesterol. You couldn't pick a more perfect strategy for suppressing your ability to withstand the stresses of life, for suppressing your body's ability to grow and recover and repair, than to shut down cholesterol manufacturing. And you tell that to the next doctor who suggests that you need to be on a toxic statin drug because your cholesterol level is high. If you're interested in learning more, by the way, about this great cholesterol con, which has been perpetuated on the innocent American public by the pharmaco-medical model and their lackeys, the Walgreens of the world, check out Dr. Wallach the next time he's in your town. I saw Dr. Wallach a couple weeks ago, and Dr. Wallach will probably be in your town sometime soon. He does 300 or so gigs a year. Check out Dr. Wallach and his talk. I went to see him here in Denver a couple weeks ago, and he broke it down so simply and so elegantly. The best I'd ever heard. It was the best talk. I've seen Dr. Wallach dozens of times, and this was by far his most, in my opinion anyway, his most enlightening and his best presentation. Anyway, he broke it down in this whole cholesterol con, as I call it. He broke it down in terms of the food companies and the vegetable oil companies, what I call the Criscoization. The Criscoization of the food supply, which began at the turn of the 20th century when we basically figured out how to synthesize fats, how to make fat artificially. Crisco, by the way, has a really interesting history. It was first invented around the time of the Civil War, believe it or not, around the 1860s, by a couple of candle makers. It was first developed as a tallow or a lard replacement for candles by a couple of candle makers named William Proctor and James Gamble. Heard of those guys? William Proctor and James Gamble, as in Procter and Gamble. And these two guys were candle makers during the Civil War, the 1860s or so, and they figured out how to make vegetable oil solid, and they were using it to make candles. And then after electricity came around in the 1880s, I guess Procter & Gamble saw the writing on the wall as far as candles were concerned, and they decided to market their invention as a cheap replacement for lard. And this was in the days when temperance and vegetarianism and fasting and other health strategies / fads were starting to get popular. Kellogg's was beginning his cereal empire, and he had the Kellogg's Sanitarium in Battle Creek was a very popular place for people to go to. There was a clockmaker named Phineas Quimby who was promoting mental healing, and cosmetics and skin products were entering into the marketplace. Hang tight. We'll finish this up when we come back from our break. And take your phone calls as well. 855-660-4261 is our number. Got a couple lines open for you. I'm Pharmacist Ben. This is The Bright Side, and we'll be back after this.
This is big! Not just big, it's the Freeze-Dry Guy's Giant Factory Authorized Sale. This month, save 30 to 45% off on number 10 cans of high-quality Mountain House freeze-dried foods from the Freeze-Dry Guy. Factory fresh stock just arrived, so now's the time to stock up with the finest, best-tasting, longest-proven shelf-life foods in the industry at giant savings of 30 to 45% off. But hurry, supplies are limited to only the stock we have on hand. Call 866-404-3663. Free shipping to the lower 48 states. Click freezedryguy.com or call 866-404-3663. That's freezedryguy.com. Hurry, the Giant Factory Authorized Mountain House sale is going on now, only from the Freeze-Dry Guy. The finest freeze-dried and dehydrated foods available anywhere for long-term storage.
If you need to say happy birthday, happy anniversary, thank you, or simply I'm thinking of you, ProFlowers.com is the key. ProFlowers has stunning bouquets, like the best-selling 100 blooms for $19.99. Plus, ProFlowers will include a glass vase for free. Sending someone a wonderful surprise of beautiful flowers sent fresh from the field is easy. Choose the bouquet you like, pick the delivery date, and each order is 100% guaranteed. Plus, all bouquets from ProFlowers are guaranteed to last at least 7 full days. Beautiful, fragrant flowers picked fresh and sent to your loved one for lasting enjoyment. To get this incredible savings and send someone 100 gorgeous blooms with a free vase for $19.99, go to proflowers.com. Click the blue microphone in the top right corner and enter code PLOW. That's proflowers.com. Click the mic and enter code PLOW.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
This alert just came in. This special announcement is for business owners and leaders of organizations who've been waiting for the right time to build. General Steel has made it impossible to wait any longer with rock-bottom prices that could save you thousands. That's right, General Steel, America's leader in pre-engineered structures, is offering buildings at prices you will never see again. Don't miss these prices. A 50 by 100 for $35,000. You heard right. That's 5,000 square feet for $35,000. Manufacturers, if you need a larger building, try a 100 by 100 commercial building for $129,000. You can't afford to rent with these prices. Imagine a 70 by 100-foot church building for under $69,000. With the economy improving and interest rates still at historic lows, you can't afford to wait. So call 866-91-STEEL. Lock in your price now. Call 866-91-STEEL. That's 866-917-8335.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Great minds think alike. The network for the independent-minded. The Genesis Communications Network. GCN.
Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Our number today is 855-660-4261. Got a couple lines open for you. We'll get your calls here in just a sec. I want to finish this little history of... You know what? I think we'll talk about this tomorrow. We'll finish up talking about Crisco and... the history of Crisco. Got a really, really fascinating history associated with it. And there's also a relationship, believe it or not, probably to be expected, between heart disease and Crisco and Procter & Gamble and the so-called lipid hypothesis, the idea that saturated fats are bad for you and you got to stay away from butter and cheese. There's actually a really neat book that talks all about this Procter & Gamble and Criscoization of the food supply. It's called The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teicholz. I'm trying to get her on the program. Her book is The Big Fat Surprise, Why Butter, Meat, and Cheese Belong in a Healthy Diet. Nina Teicholz, Teicholz, and she goes over this whole story about how Procter & Gamble and Crisco and Ansel Keys and the lipid hypothesis and the epidemic of heart disease, which was unheard of at the time of Crisco, or relatively unheard of at the time of Crisco, and is now the leading cause of death. Nina Tychols goes into how all of this is related. We'll continue talking about arginine and liver health and statin drugs and cholesterol and the Criscoization of the food supply on our next Brightside episode. Tomorrow we'll also talk to Sonia Barrett about her book, Health, an Inside Job. You can get the book on Kindle. I bought mine on Kindle. You can also get it on Amazon.com. Health, an Inside Job. Okay, 855-660-4261 is our number on the Bright Side. We want to hear from you today if you've got questions.